Hi, my name is Lori Morrow, and I am a metabolic specialist here in Southeast Michigan. I do metabolic testing with Total Health Systems, and I want to talk to you a little bit today about cardio exercise, and specifically how the metabolic test, the exercise metabolic test, can help you with cardio exercise. But before you can understand the test, there's a couple things about cardio exercise you need to kind of understand. So imagine, if you will, you're just going for a nice leisurely walk, maybe taking the dog for a walk. And your body's not overly strained, it's really easy, you're not requiring a whole lot of energy. At this intensity level, your body is really good at providing you with energy by using fat. You're able to pull in oxygen, distribute it to the working muscles, and convert fat into a fuel source and fuel this nice leisurely walk with the dog. Now, as that heart rate, or as that intensity or that walk goes a little bit faster, a little bit quicker, that intensity goes up, the heart rate starts to go up, maybe you even break out into a jog, whatever it is, that intensity goes up, and now your body isn't quite as good at using fat as a fuel source. It can't quite keep up with the energy demands of this new slow jog that you're doing. So what does your body do? It's very smart. It will say, you know what? Fat's not really getting me by. It's not providing enough energy. I don't have enough oxygen available. I'm starting to huff and puff. So I am going to start to become more dependent on carbohydrates, which is stored in your body, stored in those muscles, and guess what? You don't need as much oxygen to convert that carbohydrate into a fuel source. So now your body's kind of doing this mix of using some fat, using some carbohydrate, and then you get to the certain point known as your anaerobic threshold, where your body is only using carbohydrate as a fuel. And it's at this point that lactic acid will start to accumulate in your body. Lactic acid is going to be very fatiguing. And so something that we kind of want to be aware of when we're doing cardio exercise. So the metabolic test, the exercise metabolic test that we offer, helps us determine, hey, where is it that I'm using fat as a fuel source, and where is it that I'm just using carbohydrate as a fuel source? So the exercise metabolic test that I'm talking about sometimes is referred to as a VO2 test. It's the test that you see where athletes have this mask on, and they're typically on a treadmill or on a bike, and they're breathing through this mask with a hose coming out of it. Very scientific. Very cool stuff. But the information that we learn from this will tell us not only what heart rate you should be working out at to be utilizing fat as a fuel source, but also what heart rate you should be working out at to be, if you're looking for an anaerobic adaptation. Anaerobic adaptation, what is this? Who is this test for? I believe this test is for anybody that's doing cardio exercise. Now, if you are an endurance athlete, I'm sure you can see the benefit in knowing and understanding, where does my body burn fat? As an endurance athlete, you need to know and teach your body how to be more efficient and effective at using fat as a fuel source. But even if you're an athlete that is never worked out, you're brand new to working out, maybe you're working out to lose weight, maybe you're working out to lower your blood pressure, lower your cholesterol, well, you should know what heart rate you should be working out at as well. Now, you can get on the treadmill, you can get on the elliptical, and you can look at that chart that's on there, and that chart will say, oh, you know what, you're 45, you should work out at this heart rate to burn fat. And you think, man, I don't need that stuff Lori was talking about. This treadmill just told me I should work out at 120 if I want to burn fat. Problem is, that treadmill doesn't really know anything about you. It's basically just said, hey, you're 40, you're 45 years old, this is probably where you should be. And it's based off an equation, and that equation can be very off depending on your genetic genetic makeup, depending on your fitness history, depending on your current fitness level, depending on a lot of different things. So that's why I say, you know what, let's do better than just going off an equation off the machine. Let's do an exercise metabolic test and find out, hey, where's a good fat burning zone for you? Where's a good cardio fitness building zone for you? And that's the information that we can learn from this metabolic test. So what is all involved in a test? Well, usually you're on the treadmill. I often do the test on a treadmill, but it can be done on a bike or an elliptical. I have triathletes actually bring in their race bike and their trainers, and we'll test them on their actual equipment. Usually you're on that piece of equipment from anywhere from 6 to 20 minutes or so, and that's my job, to make sure I have you on there long enough but not too long. Usually by the end of the test, you're ready to get that mask off for sure. Something that you don't want to be doing longer than you have to. So I'm not gonna lie, it's not the most comfortable thing, but the information that you gain from it is very valuable. Once you're done with that test, I analyze the information, and with that information, I can put together a 12-week cardio program for you. And depending on what your test results are, I'll kind of give you an indication as to here's what we can kind of expect to see in 12 weeks. Because guess what? Your fitness is going to change. These heart rate zones are going to change. And that's one of the things that a lot of people like about that test, is because it's very measurable. You can measure where you are and where you should be and how things change. The test, even though you're only on the treadmill for 6 to 20 minutes or so, we schedule a whole hour for it. So by the time I get you set up, do the test, and explain the test results to you, it usually takes about an hour. Typically, you will go home with that 12-week program sent right to your email inbox. So it's pretty cool stuff. If you have more questions,